Welcome to the Sports Card Talk Show. Sports Card Talk Show with Kevin Anderson and Lauren Walker, the Skol Brothers.
Welcome to episode 81 of the Sports Card Talk Show. Monday Mount Rushmore action going on. Who do we got coming on tonight?
We have Jonah at FingerNibbler Sports Cards on YouTube and Instagram to help us out with the Chargers.
Nice. I see we got a little bit of a list going on over there.
Yeah. I've got a good list going, and then it kind of drops off after that. So he should have most of these guys on his list.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, man. Should we get him on the line?
Ring-a-ling ding-dong.
All right, we got Jonah on the line. How's it going today?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. So, you're tasked with the Chargers. So we're super excited about it. We see your, looks like Melvin Gordon there in the, yep, that's nice,
there
man.
There you go. All right, should I get right into it?
Yeah, man, let's dive into it. Honorable mentions.
All right. So, my first honorable mention is Charlie Joyner. Here we go. We got an Immortals insert from Panini Certified. Charlie Joyner, he's a Hall of Famer, obviously. He was a great receiver before I was born, obviously, so I didn't get to see him really at all, but I've seen a lot of his highlights, and he's a really good receiver. He had 3 Pro Bowls and 11 seasons with the Chargers to come to a total of 65 total touchdowns. And yeah, he was a great overall player.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, should I go to the next one then?
Sure.
This one probably most people wouldn't expect, but I kind of am biased because I haven't seen many of the old Chargers, obviously, and we haven't had much success in these last few years. So Keenan Allen, I think he's a super dynamic. This is a rookie prism autograph.
That's a sweet card, man.
Yeah. It's a die cut out of 60.
Yeah,
there you go.
Really nice.
But anyways, he was Comeback Player of the Year 2017. He was 2013 rookie and set a ton of rookie records for the Chargers for yards and receptions and other stuff like that. And he's had 3 Pro Bowls, all of which come, I think, recently. In fact, I think it's been the last 3 years. I'm pretty sure. And I'd say he's my favorite receiver to watch on their team. So, yeah.
Keenan Allen was an integral part on, I believe, my second fantasy football championship. So I like Keenan Allen, too.
He is a good fantasy choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we have Kellen Winslow, Legends insert, because he is indeed a legend. While he's not the top tight end for the Chargers, which I'll get to the top one later,
right?
The top 4,
right?
I'd say he's significant because he really revolutionized the tight end position at the time with his different style of play. He's a Hall of Famer also. He's exceeded 1,000 yards 3 times, and he went to 5 Pro Bowls. So he had a great career overall, but I mean, I know there's a little controversy with him, I think, or his son. I forget which.
I think it's his son, actually.
Yeah, his son, yeah.
Yep.
But he was a really good player.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. All right, and then lastly, I do not have a card of him because he's so old. We have Ron Mix. He was probably, I'd say, our best offensive lineman in our history, in my opinion. He's a tackle, and I think my favorite stat of his is that he had only 2 holding calls in his entire 10 years of playing.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Only 2.
Yeah.
So I like that stat a lot. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Most people have that in just 1 year, and he had it in 10 years. And he was significant because he helped the team to 5 of 6 of the first AFC championships, which was awesome. But obviously, we still don't have a Super Bowl. He's in the Hall of Fame, and he's on the all-time AFL team. So, yeah.
Oh, nice.
I wish I was able to see him play because he
Yeah.
seems like a player.
Yeah.
I feel like the Vikings have had some tackles that have had 2 holding calls in just one game.
One game.
Definitely, yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
All right. Let's get into as I mentioned before, the top tight end, in my opinion, is Antonio Gates. Here's a relic for Antonio Gates. He's from going as an undrafted free agent to becoming at what he retired as is pretty crazy. Playing for 17 years, 116 total touchdowns, and in my opinion is at least one of the top 5 undrafted free agents in NFL history. 8 Pro Bowls and 5 All-Pros. So he had a pretty amazing career with Phillip Rivers, obviously. Yeah.
I think the Antonio Gates also like revolutionized the position because
yes, he did.
From him, I don't even think he played college football. Or
no, I don't think so. Yeah,
he wasn't a good enough basketball player to make it to the NBA.
That's what it was. Yes.
And that kind of transitioned to like guys like Jimmy Graham, and if you're not good enough to be a power forward in the NBA, you can maybe be a tight end in the NFL. And Antonio Gates started that.
He had a very long career. He just playing every year.
Oh yeah.
All right. Next one. I also didn't get to see him play, but Junior Seau. Probably, in my opinion, the best defensive player in our history. 12 Pro Bowls, which is a ton, obviously. He's the 1990 All-Decade Team, Hall of Famer, Man of the Year 1994, and Defensive Player of the Year 1992. But obviously, sadly, he died of suicide, I think in 2012 or 13 or something like that, which is sad, but he had an awesome career. And I saw that his real name actually wasn't Junior. It was actually Tiana Ball, which I'm guessing is Hawaiian maybe. I'm not sure, but yeah, so great player, but sadly his life came to a sad ending, but he had a great career.
Yeah. Junior Seau is amongst one of the great linebackers in NFL history.
Yes,
for sure.
he was. All right, so we have 2 more, right? All right, and then the face of the franchise. So we've got Dan Fouts next, who I also did not see. But I do see him as a broadcaster currently, and he's one of my personal favorite broadcasters. I think he analyzes the game pretty well. He got us to 2 AFC championships, but sadly, no Super Bowl. 6 Pro Bowls, Chargers Hall of Fame, and they retired his number. And he was probably our greatest QB. I mean, you could argue Phillip Rivers, who is actually going to be my next one. But, yeah, he had a good career, too.
You mentioned that Dan Fouts is a great broadcaster. He also was broadcasting games on The Waterboy, too. With Adam Sandler. Yeah. Have you seen The Waterboy?
I have not.
Okay. Yeah, he's pretty funny in that movie. But you mentioned Dan Fouts, you mentioned Charlie Joyner, and you mentioned Kellen Winslow, and they're all part of that.
Yes, they're all part of the team.
Yeah, that Air Coryell offense that revolutionized the passing game in the NFL. So.
Yeah, that was a great time in our history. But sadly, Super Bowl came from it.
You're right.
All right, and then, lastly, I'm going to do Mr. Phillip Rivers, as much as I hate to say it. I personally not a fan of him really anymore, but I've liked him before when he was more in his prime. I think he's declining right now, but he's had a really good career overall. 8 Pro Bowls, Comeback Player of the Year. There was many great moments with him that I remember, like the AFC Championship game. In 2007, he led us to the first AFC Championship we've had since I think somewhere in the 1990s. So that was a great time to be a Chargers fan after that long drought. I mean, again, And I think we made the Super Bowl that year or the year after. I forget which one. Obviously didn't win it, but that was still cool. So yeah, he's had a great career. I don't know if he's going to be on our team anymore though this upcoming year.
I think they would just announce that he was they were parting ways, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'd support that move at this point. We need a change of scenery, I think.
Right.
For our better players. Yeah.
I really like Phillip Rivers. He was also part of that championship team for me that year for fantasy football.
Nice. Yeah. The only Chargers player I've had in fantasy is Melvin Gordon. I've stuck with him so much. I drafted him even this year. And I mean, obviously, he didn't give me much, but I had still confidence in him. But I do like Austin Eckler a lot, his backup. I think he could have a great upcoming season.
For sure.
All right, and then I bet you can probably guess who the face of the franchise is. Who have I not named yet?
Yeah.
Right.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yep.
There you go. And I like this card because it kind of, this banner season.
Uh-oh.
He had 1,800 rushing yards, 28 rushing touchdowns, which is a record for the NFL for a single season, and 113.4 rushing yards per game. That's an insane stat. He's our best running back in history by far. 5 Pro Bowls, MVP, 11 seasons, 6-time All-Pro. He's so talented. He had like a combination of jukes and power that just led him to great success on the field. And he's set, as I said, a lot of records too for a single season in rushing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's a great player to end with, man.
Yeah, it is.
I think early in when you guys talked me into playing fantasy in the early 2000s, I feel like I had him on my team one year. I must have, because I think I did really well on you guys. It's only because you had him.
I don't think I ever got to draft him whenever he was in his prime because I was usually drafting near the end of the...
We didn't draft that way, though. You can talk all the smack you want. Sorry, that's the inside joke between us.
So you guys play a lot of fantasy football?
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
I think
same.
I was in 3 leagues this year, and ironically, I got 4th in all of them.
In all of them?
Yeah, so I made the semifinals in all 3 and lost, which sucked. But,
yeah.
Fantasy makes it fun, though.
It does.
It makes the games... I remember when I first started playing, I never really watched football, and I started playing, and I'm like, man, I'm watching a Monday night game between the Raiders and some other team that was just garbage, but I had Lamont Jordan and somebody else going.
Yeah, I'm makes like, the NFL so much more enjoyable.
Yeah, I gotta watch.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on, Jonah, and we think, you nailed it, man. We had almost everybody on our list was checked off, but we had more than the 9 players.
Yeah.
So
I
checked them all.
I put a whole pile of guys on. The Rodney Harrison. I don't know if he was on the list. He ended up going and winning a couple Super Bowls with the Patriots. He was a fringe guy. Leslie O'Neal is probably your best defensive end in history.
Oh yeah.
And then Lance Allsworth, who's
I know. I was debating very heavily putting him on. Yeah,
and you got to narrow it down, though.
He would have been my next choice if I had 5.
Honorable
mentions.
Yeah. So I mean, those are just, and then after that, it's a pretty steep drop off. You start running.
Sadly. Yeah.
Well, we'll bring the episode to an end here. If you want to hang on the phone for 1 second, we'll just talk to you for another minute. That'll bring episode 81, Monday Mount Rushmore, the Chargers Mount Rushmore with Jonah at FingerNibbler Sports Cards on YouTube and Instagram. Check them out, and that'll bring it to an end.
Skol Brothers out.